Hello everyone, welcome back to another Fruit Realm episode, and today, I'm back with showing you my city that I pretty much ruined, but I have great news. It was not ruined the way I thought it was. So, this is the city. I'm gonna fly out and kind of get an overhead view first, and dang, this is way better than I could have imagined, to be completely honest. I mean, I did have help choosing some palettes and things like that, but for the most part, yeah, it looks great. So, I'm here to just kind of talk about how you can make your builds just a little bit different, or just how to make a little bit more interesting city, because this is way more interesting than I would have thought it would have made. So we'll start down on the ground. I'll walk around, kind of explain some of the houses and stuff, and what kind of makes them a little bit more interesting. So this is a guard's house, or the captain of the guard's house, and he also has a basement down here where he can train soldiers, or maybe he has a son that's just kind of like lives down there because he doesn't want to move out of his parents' basement or something. I don't know. There's lots of different things. There's like a little chicken vendor. You've got a church. You've got a cobbler / leather worker. You've got... Okay, I've got to walk around. But you've got a herbalist who does all the herbs. Obviously, I'm not done with all these builds because most of the interiors aren't done. But we're working on that. Anyway, this is a rich merchant that maybe retired, but still likes to sell a couple things, so that's why he's got a little stand out here. He can sell 1 or 2 things that are important. You got a melon cart. I don't really know why. Maybe there's a melon person who grows melons and they're bringing them in. This is a library. This is a little river. I just really like this. Like, you saw that in the plans, but it was like way smaller, but I moved the buildings out and moved the walls out. It was insane. It took forever to move the walls because I needed way more room to get all these builds in, but I really like these trees and all that we're able to do over here. Add some flowers and plants. This is just a home, just for someone to live in, because if you have all different professions and stuff, then it's like, well, where do the people live? This is a little stage area. I thought that was really interesting because there's not really an outdoor stage, and maybe these people have little balconies that will watch when I build them. And this is like a bar, maybe / inn, maybe just a place people can gather and have fun. And moving on, this is the mill, and this turned out actually way better than I thought, because I was gonna put a water wheel in here, but there was only like 2 blocks, so I was like, oh, I need to put a water wheel in because it's a mill. It's gonna make stuff. So this is the baker's house / the mill. This is the wizard's tower, and some people said they didn't really like the palette, but I really do. It's a lot different than I would have picked, but I think it really stands out as a magical build, which is fantastic. So if you want to change up build palettes, that's a great way to make all of your houses a little bit more interesting, or any of your builds more interesting. If you have a giant city, you don't want to do all just maybe spruce and oak and just stuff like that. If you change it up, maybe add some dark oak, maybe add some stripped logs instead of just spruce or oak. Maybe add some terracotta over here, brick as a roof. Yeah, there's tons of different ways you can do this. By the way, Flip does a great job of building a city, and I've taken some inspiration from him and many other creators as well, such as B-dubs for this house. Like, I really just like the style. I didn't do it exactly the way he does it, though. I added a lot more dark, and I added some stripped spruce log. And this is like a duke's house or royal's house, something like that. This is the inn of the whole village. I don't know if it's going to be big enough, and it will connect over, so I'll have like a little bridge you can walk under right over here. And it should connect up. I just haven't got to it because I haven't. And then finally, this is the church, which is the front of the build as you walk in from one of the main gates. So, to make all your builds interesting, a really easy thing to do is add stuff in front of it that kind of explains what the house is, or behind the house. This is another thing that you should probably do when you're making a city. Make sure all your builds aren't exactly right up against each other. It's okay to have a couple of them, but to make a really interesting, like, back alley, you need some space. Like, back here, you've got your walkways, you've got maybe little banners, you've got so much stuff, you got crates, you've got a maybe little wheat field. Since this is the mill, they maybe hauling hay off to the marketplace, which is going to be over there somewhere. But you can add so many things. Maybe the entrance is in the back alley, like this, to the library. Maybe the mill, this is the only way to get back here. But you can come in here, this is where his grind thing is, and maybe he comes over here, he has a little barge, he floats it down just a little ways, whoop, over here, so he can unload it and move it off somewhere else to go sell it or something. But if you don't have all your builds right next to each other, you can do these amazing things, like maybe a little basketball hoop. You can do so many things back here. Maybe someone was trying to get under the Duke's house for some reason, and they're trying to use their little shovel to get under there. Maybe he has lots of gold in his basement or something. I don't know. Anyway, but it's really easy to add interest to your city. Maybe putting barrels in front of the bar or something like that. Putting some hay in front of this one. Maybe add a little vendor in front of something. There's so many different ways you can add interest to each of your builds. Maybe add a well, add some trees. Because greenery is a really easy way to add interest. Since this is the herbalist, they've got lots of leaves and they're going to have a balcony out here. Maybe they're growing plants. Maybe they like this tree. They take care of the tree. Maybe they take care of all these flowers too. There's so much lore and stuff you can add in to make your builds more interesting. You've got a little garden area that's just kind of blocking off the secret little house or something. You don't know what they're doing back there. I don't know. So there's tons of things you can do to make your builds way more interesting. And hopefully I've kind of helped you, and you kind of got to see my city and how I've kind of started planning it and how it's actually turned into something great. So maybe you can take inspiration. I don't mind, because inspiration is one of the ways I could have got through this, because there's no way I could have built all these houses without looking at pictures and looking at other creators, seeing what kind of builds that they've done. So it's really amazing, the inspiration you can do from others and how to make your builds a little bit more interesting. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm Perry Pineapple making my random city, and hopefully you enjoyed. If you do, please press the like button, because we do have more. I do have more, and you should be able to see the final builds of I guess not the castle district anyway. So see you next time on Fur Realm.